Hey there. Today I'm answering a question that was asked here on the channel by somebody who understood that there are two parts of the chart. There is our conscious and our unconscious, or personality and design. So I'm going to read the question out, and it's going to be particularly useful, this video, for you if you are somebody who is like, you have your exact time of birth, but you're just not resonating with the chart in front of you. As in, you understand about your type, but it doesn't feel like it matches you. You understand about your inner authority, but you can't connect with it. It doesn't feel right. Or there are aspects of your chart that are like, yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't click. It doesn't feel right, but I know I have the right time of birth. So I'm going to read that question out to you. And if this topic is something that is resonating with you, but you don't understand the terms I'm talking about, I want to encourage you to watch this video, which I'll link afterwards. It is the video that I did about conscious versus unconscious, design, personality versus design, and I will link that one up, but you can already find it on the channel if you just look for conscious versus unconscious. And the question that was asked was actually by a manifestor, but I want you to know that while I'll answer this person's question, this also applies to everybody. So I'm going to attempt to answer this person's question. Thank you for bravely asking it. And also, if you are somebody other than an emotional manifestor, this will also be helpful for you. If you are tripping over, like, the chart doesn't feel like me, like what do I do about that? So the question that was asked is, I'm an emotional manifestor, but all my manifestor qualities and those that make up my authority are found within my unconscious design. Again, if you don't know that language, watch this other video first, the unconscious versus conscious. This is making it really tricky for me since I'm unaware of my emotional wave and consider myself a rather cool and collected person, unaffected by the emotions described to come and go for somebody as an emotional authority. Neither am I aware of any urges or nudges to initiate, making me kind of a depressed version of a manifestor, constantly what seems to be a rest cycle. How do I tackle this? So we're going to pull this apart. There's a couple of things that I want to say. First up, before I pull it apart, when I did that other video a few years ago about the two aspects of the chart, the red and the black, this so-called conscious and unconscious, one of the things that I had said in that is that I don't find it useful to pull apart the chart and create a chart that is just the conscious and just the unconscious. Now, this is something that you can do in some of the paid versions of Genetic Matrix. So I'll make sure that I give you a link to my affiliate link for Genetic Matrix. If you want to have that access, if you want to pull that up, it's a fairly low monthly fee if that's something that feels good to you and you want to explore that. But what was interesting is there were a couple of people in the comments who got quite cranky at me that I said that I didn't find it helpful, that I didn't feel like it was a good use of people's time. And they had said that they had pulled theirs apart and they'd found it really helpful. So again, I want to, if you are feeling yourself pulled into pulling the chart apart, and you could always draw it. You could just like print out two blank human design charts and color in all the black on one and color in all the red on the other, the activations, and make for yourself two charts. If you feel the urge to do that, then don't let me or anybody else dissuade you from what your own internal truth is telling you to do. And I, to this day, have not found any usefulness in it. I find it an interesting mental exercise, but I haven't found a practical application. But if you want to do that and you find it helpful for understanding yourself, you do you. Now, the other thing that can be really helpful in gaining more self-awareness around these so-called unconscious aspects of your design is to get yourself a resource that explains each of the gates. Now, at this point in time, the human design world has exploded. There are 12 million ways that you can study your gates. Of course, you can do it in session with me, but you can literally just buy any decent human design book that includes the gates and go through and look at the gates that are activated in red in your design. And sometimes even just having an awareness of what each of those gates, like how they play out, what those behaviors are, can help you have a better sense of yourself and go, maybe I do that. And what I have found is, like, in traditional human design, it is said that until our Uranus opposition, which is around age 38 to 42-ish, mine was 44, so if it doesn't fit neatly in that period of time, don't worry. But around 40-ish, it is said that we hit a maturing point in our life and that we have become more conscious of the unconscious aspects of our design. Now, hopefully you're tracking with me here. What I have found is that a lot of the people who follow my work online and almost all of my clients actually have a pretty high level of self-awareness. They've spent time healing, they've spent time digging into their childhood, they've spent time in self-reflection, and even clients in their 30s or even as early as their 20s will often, if I talk about the unconscious aspects of their chart, be like, oh yeah, yep, I've figured out I do that, right? Now, do my clients in their 60s have a much better idea of who they are in the totality? Yes, than say a 25-year-old. But if you have been somebody who has spent some time in self-reflection, and the more that you have witnessed yourself and like been somebody who is watching your own patterns of behavior, watching what comes out of your mouth, noticing what people around you say about you consistently and reflect back to you about yourself, there is every chance that the so-called unconscious are going to be things that you have become consciously aware of. So I want to, like, one of the things in answering this question for this manifestor, and for you if this topic resonates with you, is I want to encourage you to not get trapped into the idea that human design says that this aspect of me, this whole half of me, is unconscious. Therefore, I have no control over it. I have no awareness of it. Can you sit with the idea that, like, oh, maybe these are things I don't understand as well about myself as the others. Maybe these are things I'm coming to learn about myself. Maybe these are things that other people tell me about myself that I haven't quite clicked yet. But the more you can reflect on and like get curious about the unconscious aspects, the more they will come to light for you, and the more you will be able to play with the wholeness of who you are. So I want to go back to pulling apart this question, and we're going to use the question as a way to help all of you, regardless of what your type is. So this person who has said they are an emotional manifestor has said, I consider myself a rather cool and collected person, unaffected by the emotions described to come and go as an emotional authority. So that's one part that I've highlighted here. Neither am I aware of any urges or nudges to initiate. Okay, now as a manifestor, this person needs to be able to feel their urges and like their nudge to initiate, right? In order to like do life the way they came here to do. And the last bit that I've highlighted here that I want to like share with you is it's making me kind of a depressed version of a manifestor. How do I tackle this? So what comes to me through all of the trauma healing work, all of the nervous system work, is when I read this question from this person, this brave person who's asked this question, thank you. What I want you to be aware of is there's a very good chance that your nervous system is actually quite shut down. And the thing that you need to focus on here in order to tackle this, as they asked, is less about how do I make the unconscious conscious, or how do I work with these parts that I have no access to, and instead go, maybe that's not where I need to be paying attention. Maybe where I need to be paying attention is, why do I feel so depressed? Why do I feel so disconnected from my emotions? I truly don't think, and again, I wouldn't know for sure unless I work with a person like live, so I can like key into their energy and like really get a strong sense of the person. But my very learned guess for this person and for you, if you're watching this and this topic resonates, is what happened to this person in childhood that caused them to shut down their connection to their emotions. Because their question reads like, I had to be cool and collected. I had to depress, to stuff down my anger, my emotions, my bigness. That's where I'm going to encourage you to get curious, to go, what if I think into my childhood? How safe did I feel to express my emotions? How safe did I feel to use my anger to hold my boundary when I wanted to go and do things and people wanted to fucking interrupt me? Like, how safe did I feel? Did I feel really safe in my childhood when I think back to going and doing things without being controlled, manipulated, blocked, stopped? Because there's a very good chance that actually what's playing out here is old protection mechanisms, old coping mechanisms, that what was happening for this person and for you, if you are another person who's watching this, is you were trying to keep yourself safe. And that's where a focus around healing, deconditioning, looking at unresolved trauma, looking at the places where you didn't feel safe to express all the things, that is a better use of your attention and your energy and your focus. So what I want to do at this point is make sure that on screen I leave you a list of the playlist for the deconditioning tapping playlist. There's some hints in there. There is far more that I share in terms of opportunities with my email list. So you'll find a way to join that if you're not on that list in the email, in the video description, and I'll add it as a pin post when I edit this live. And if you found this video useful, 2 easy things that you can do are share it with somebody who might gain value from it, or just give it a like. And those free actions help me to help the channel to grow, and then give me more resources so then I can create more resources for you.